Welcome back to Brian with Newland Farm. Today we're out here. We talked the other day a little bit on the video about when we wean our baby goats, and today we got a group that's due to wean some of them off their mamas. We just caught a good handful of them up here in the pen, and we're going to trim some of the mamas' hooves and give them. The thing is, we're in Tennessee, so we have a copper deficiency. The way we generally do it, we just we give them a copper bolus once a year, and I'll talk a little more about that when we get ready to give them to them. But right now, we just called them up right here, and we're just going to go through and select which ones. We've got them all wrote down on the age. It just helps us keep up with them a little better, and a lot of times we have a lot of our Nannie goats have triplets, and they'll naturally wean them to a certain extent, but you got three this size on their mama still, they get pretty rough, so we just try to go ahead and pull them off. And anyways, we'll just show you kind of what we got. Sophie, you want to get me one that's ready?
One of the biggest ones.
That's sort of like this one right here. He's just now 8 weeks, and he's pretty good size. He was actually a quad. He was one of 4. He was a quad baby, but that just shows you the size that they get. Just right here, Sophie. I think she likes getting them so she can hold them an extra minute. But
yeah, but this one's heavy.
Anyways, this is just, I want to clear that up too. This is just the way we do it. I know everybody's got their own ways of doing stuff. This is just the way we like to do it. And like I said, we'll move them. And there's 2 groups that we had that he missed. Our buck had missed one set of them, and needless to say, they kidded a couple weeks later than the other nannies we had. So that's why we've got 2 age groups here.
This is another one of the 4. No, that's another one from the 4.
And like this one right here, she's actually, this one right here is actually one of the quad babies as well. And it just shows you how big they get, how quick. And she's 8 weeks old. And that's like this one right here Sophie's got. She's another one that's only 2 months old. And they just, like I said, whenever...
She was a twin.
Yeah, that one actually was a twin there, so.
That's the twin to the white one.
You want to hold it?
Which is heavy?
You want to hold it for a minute?
No. Okay, now. Is he coming?
Lucky's coming. Bruce is coming.
Lucky's coming. Bruce is coming.
And then the all black one.
I'll grab Bruce. Oh, you a good boy.
All right, what is it, Cooper? Cooper, come here. He's got something he's wanting to show y'all. Show him what you got. What you got?
What is it?
Him?
The all black one.
Huh?
Is he all black?
I think so. It's hard to tell where he's running away. Yeah, I think he's heavier than the white one. He's a big boy.
That's our last one.
Oh, that's it?
So it's like this one right here. If I had to guess, I'm gonna guess him probably about 40, right at 40 pounds right now. So they're
at 8 weeks.
At 8 weeks old, yeah.
And he was a twin. Bruce, come on. You want your bottle? This is Bruce. He's probably 6 weeks old now. We're having to have a bottle break. He was a twin. His mama just didn't take him.
All right, we're finishing. We're finishing up. We packed a handful of them, and this is something I made, I don't know, a couple years ago. Don't make fun of it, but I tell you what, I call it my little goat caddy. It, boy, sure comes in handy if you just need to move one or two, even adult goats. And as far as with kids, it's so much easier sometimes if we take them to the sale. If we only have a couple, you know, even 4 or 5 left that we ain't sold off the farm and we take to the sale, the advantage of this thing, I can just throw it right in the back of the truck. We can load them up and take them. Which I use, I tell you all the time, I told y'all before, I use these clips right there for just about everything. I've got them on a lot of my gates that I've made out of these goat panels. You can tell we've got a lot of them. It's got a lot of color.
I guess that's how it could have got over.
So we just take. How old were all these, Tara?
They're anywhere from 5 weeks to 6 weeks, I think. These aren't being weaned yet. We're just moving them to a different field.
Good job. Oh.
I thought you had that one, Cooper. Another loud one.
Every now and then you get a feel like that.
Can you catch him?
You want to get this one? You want to get this one, Coop? Right here. Oh, so close.
Look, there's lots of cuteness in one little spot.
There you go.
Good job.
A wild one.
That's a bottle baby Bruce's sister, I think.
I don't know, she's a lot wilder.
Good Jade. All loaded up.
Cooper, just come out this way. It's open.
and that's like it. I think there wound up being, if I'm not mistaken, I'm thinking there's about 15 in this little cart, which of course none of these weigh a whole lot. They've just now really started to eat a little bit of feed, but we've got them sort of crammed in there, but just to move them to another pasture won't be no big deal.
There you go. Like, just go in front of her. There you go.
And here's the thing, when we trim their hooves, we try to do it pretty regular, but the thing is I normally don't like running them through the working system when they're actually heavy bred, and so they have a tendency between that time frame there, their hooves, they can actually, they won't get terrible, but they'll get longer than what I really like. But like I said, we try to stay on them. I'm no professional, and I don't claim to be one when it comes to trimming hooves. But which that's the one thing I've found out with boar goats is their hooves are they are hard, can be hard to trim. They get so hard, and a good pair of clippers goes a long ways. All right, today we've got a doe here that needs her copper bolus is due. We try to give them a copper bolus once a year. We're in Tennessee, we have a copper deficiency here, and the ones we use is the Ultra Cruise. They're 4 gram per bolus. They've actually got a 2 gram bolus too that you can give to your younger kid goats. I've never gave it to kid goats. I've only gave it to the adult ones. And but anyways, when we first started doing this, we used several different bolus guns, and we had a lot of issues with just not working properly. The bolus, as you can see, they're not real big, but we had a problem every time we put it in the gun. We couldn't get it to stay, and we tried all kinds of stuff, peanut butter and everything else to hold that bolus in it. And Josh over at Bodart Kiko's, we watch a lot of their videos, and they had this bolus gun on one of theirs, and we actually ordered it. This right here is probably the best bolus gun I've ever seen for copper bolus and goats. It the way this one's designed, it's actually got a little tab inside that when you put that copper bolus in, it holds it. And I mean, it ain't gonna come out until you push the handle. When you push the handle, it pushes it out, and it just makes it so much easier. The way we do, we just, while we got them in the head catch, a lot of times I will go ahead and take this bar off. That way I can lean their head up a little bit more. And the way I do it, I just put it way back there in their throat. And you can put it like that right there, and you can pretty much know when they swallow, they've swallowed it. But it's that simple. Like I said, I highly recommend if you fool with goats and you're gonna copper bolus them, this right here is the way to go. Well, that wraps up our video. We've got everything cleaned off, washed off, and we did we actually trimmed all of them. Well, we didn't do them all. We did, I think we had 10 or 11 nannies that we run through the system today. We trimmed their hooves, and we gave them all a copper bolus. We only had one that actually, she was borderline really, but normally we don't deworm them very often, but she was sort of borderline on her eye color, so we just went ahead just for, she was one of the mamas that was getting the babies weaned off of her, so we went ahead and dewormed her. But out of 11, one I didn't think was very bad at all. But we got all the babies moved, and the ones we were weaning, and got their feet looking a lot better. Like I said, we try to stay on top of them. But anyways, we got them all looking pretty good, and got them in the pastures we want them to be in. And we've got probably about 4 weeks. We'll probably start taking some to sell. We are going to list our doe ones. We're going to list them, try to sell them to individuals that are looking for good breeding stock. We've got another kid crop coming in June, and I think we've got about 10 that's bred to be kidding in June, and still got a few more that's due to kid any day now. But anyways, we just want to show y'all what we were doing this morning, kind of how we go about it. I didn't talk a whole lot about the hoof boss. I guess, so if we bring that hoof boss, I'll show them. This hoof boss, I don't use it all the time. I found that the clippers work really good on the back feet. I don't have a problem at all with the back feet, but sometimes the front feet on your older goats, the hoof itself just gets so hard that the initial first cut, it ain't too bad. You can cut it pretty good, but when you get where you're just wanting to sort of trim it up and shape it up, it's hard to do with clippers because the hoofs are so hard. So we went to this hoof boss. It's been a couple years ago, I guess, and but we really like it. Like I said, which Tara, she don't trim hoofs. She's scared she might hurt one of them, but
maybe one day.
Huh?
Maybe one day.
Yeah, maybe. But anyways, and that's one thing with that. There's some of them that every now and then, you're going to possibly get a little bit of blood, draw a little bit of blood on them. It's not going to hurt them, from my experience. Sometimes, to clean the hoof up the way it needs to be, sometimes you will get a little bit of blood. But anyways, the hoof boss we went with, I didn't want one that plugged in a wall, so I went with the one. I've got all kinds of DeWalt tools, so I went with the one that takes a DeWalt 20-volt battery, and it's just got a belt clip. You can clip it however you want, and a lot of times I'll just clip it. I clip it right here on my working system, and the tool itself's got a clip on it. But what one we got here, and what you do is when you turn that on, it's just pretty much like a Dremel, but depending on how you lay it, depends on how much comes off the actual hoof. But like I said, they make them I think for horses and everything. But this one here's the goat. I think it's actually a goat and sheep hoof boss. But like I said, especially for like the bucks, their hoofs are so heavy and hard. You can't hardly even cut them with the regular clippers, and which of course I've got a variety, a couple different brands of these clippers here, and they'll last a pretty good while. But after you trim so many, they'll start to get dull. And I don't think them are very expensive. I'm thinking they're like $20-something for a pair. But anyways, we just want to show you what we had, and hope y'all enjoyed it. And don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next video.